Hey everyone, my name's Amanda and I'm the Fun Size Reader. And today I wanted to talk to you about Sarah J. Maas's newest release, A Court of Silver Flames, and what I'm thinking when I'm about 50% into the book. So as you may have seen, a couple weeks ago I released a reread of most of the Court and Thorns series that I was rereading at the end of last year in preparation for this new book to come out. One thing I will say is that I do feel like this book has done a really good job of reminding me what happened that is important for this continuation of the story in the last books. It didn't feel like I was forgetting anything. Every time I get to a point where I should have remembered something from the last part of the series, it reminds me. It tells me what went on. It gives a little brief description, so I don't feel like I'm losing anything. I'm about 50% in, and I wanted to know what people have thought of it so far, because I obviously have my own opinions. I've been talking to some friends on Bookstagram, talking to some not Bookstagram friends who are reading it, and I feel like the consensus so far is that you either absolutely 100% adore it and love it and it's a billion stars, or you just kind of really don't like it. But I'm really curious. Leave me a comment below. Tell me what you're feeling. How far are you? I tried to leave spoilers out of the video as much as possible, so try not to spoil too much stuff, but tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Am I totally off base? Like I said, there's two groups. There's people who love it and there's people who are like, meh, I don't really like it. So I want to know, which one are you in? I don't know which one I'm in right now. I'm leaning more towards the just really don't like it section rather than the absolutely adore it. And let me explain why. I read Sarah J. Maas's books for the epic fantasy, okay? I love the world building. I love the characters. I love the heavy plot. I love following the whole story and getting shocked and twists and turns. I love that. But I also love the romance that's interwoven into the stories. And I feel like it's just this whole complete picture of reading enjoyment. Okay, that's the only way I can describe it for me. And that's why I read her books. I love them. I loved Crescent City when it came out of March of last year. I literally describe it as a masterpiece. I thought that book was so amazing. It was her best one that she's written yet. And then to follow the masterpiece with this, I've been a little disappointed. I feel like the plot for this book so far has been really, really weak compared to her other books. And like I said, I'm only 50% in. I have no idea how this ends. I've heard that the last 200 pages are fantastic and that once you get there, it just kind of rolls. But I'm not there yet. From what I've read so far, when I first started the book, I really didn't like how I thought that the plot was so poor. I'm not giving anything away because in the very first chapter, you literally learn that the entire plot is that Nesta is not doing well, and Feyre and Rhys and the whole court have basically decided that they're going to take everything away from her and punish her and force her to live in the House of Wind and train every day and work in the library to make her life better and turn her around. And when I read that first chapter and I figured out that that's what the book was based on, like that was the plot and the storyline, I was like, that's it? Really, Sarah? The immense interwoven plots and war and love stories and mating and all of this other stuff that you have in all of your other books. And that's where we're going with this one? So I was really kind of disappointed in that overall. But I was like, I love this series. I'm going to read it. I'm going to keep going. So as I kept going, there's a lot of sex in this book. A lot. And while I love a good sex scene in a book, I think that this is kind of out of place. Okay? I know it's been re-released as an adult series, but this one I feel like is just sex scenes to have sex scenes. And I don't read Sarah J. Maas for that. I know that she weaves it in, and that's totally fine. I'm cool with that. But this just seems like it's there to be there and just to have it all often. And I'm not really into that. I also think that so far, the plot of every day is we just go to training, we just go to the library, we come home. We just go to training, we just go to the library, we come home is getting kind of boring and repetitive. I understand totally that this is more of a character development type story and that there's deeper meaning and deeper problems and things that people can relate to with Nesta as a character. I totally understand that, and I like that part of it. I just don't know if this has been executed in the same way. The other thing that's really kind of bothered me is that the first 3 books, 3.5 of this series, was written from Feyre's point of view. And that was one of my big pet peeves between the 2 series, the Throne of Glass series and the Court of Thorns and Roses series, is that the point of view that she uses to write in is very different. And I don't do as well in books that follow multiple characters across different chapters, or in the same chapter and the perspective changes and it's not first person perspective. I really liked the first 3 books where we followed through Feyre's eyes. We saw everything from Feyre. And she's now switched to the Throne of Glass perspective in this book. So we follow Nesta and Cassian, and we see different parts of what is going on through their eyes. And I don't necessarily like the switch in mid-series in how it's written. I'm still reading. It's taking me a very long time, but at about halfway through, I'm just kind of a little disappointed. I don't think it was rushed, obviously. I mean, it's a lot of pages. I just think it was very uncharacteristically Sarah J. Maas. And like I said, after having such an amazing book in Crescent City, like plot lines and characters and twists and turns and gripping and making you cry, it just, after that, to have this and be disappointed in it is really sad for me. I'm still gonna read the second half. I don't know when I'm gonna finish. We'll see. Thanks for checking in. I will get a video out to you as soon as possible, as soon as I finish this gigantic book, but I don't know when that's going to be. So in the meantime, don't forget to click like and subscribe and click the little bell so you get notifications when I post videos. And if you want to chat on Instagram, you can find me at The Fun Size Reader, on Facebook at The Fun Size Reader, and on Twitter at Fun Size Reader. See you next week.